listening to the 23 Personnel Podcast, a Texas Tech athletics podcast where food and sports clash at the goal line. Here are your hosts, Spencer and Michael.
All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 23 Personnel Podcast. I am your host, Spencer, joined by Michael. Michael, what's up, man?
You know, I watched the one and only episode of The Brand so far today. Yes, and I hate it. I hate it that, you know, I'm a 42-year-old man now, but it got me a little bit fired up, Spencer. I enjoyed it. I'm feeling the why not us vibes a little bit right now. I'm probably a little bit too high on my own supply. I'll come back down. I'll come back down before we actually dive into doing predictions in the next couple weeks. But I'm glad we're not doing them tonight. I'll say
that. Speaking of, this is going to be something we'll talk about a little bit later. One of the post-practice availabilities from Coach McGuire talked about how excited he was about how well the running backs were doing. And I have some questions about that I want to get your thoughts on. But
okay.
I don't know, man. I don't know if it's Joey speak, if it's to be believed, if it's just wanting to find something to get excited about. Because, man, the offense being able to run the ball on top of everything else I expect them to be able to do was going to be pretty good. So this week, if you obviously tell from the title of the episode, if you're listening, or if you're watching the stream by the title of the stream, but also the my lower third, what's new in 2025? We're going to talk about what's coming up, new and shiny for this college football season. We will talk about some Texas Tech fall camp updates, some some position battles. AP poll, coaches poll have both come out since we last recorded. And then we'll talk about what's new. We have updates to the college football playoff seeding format, injury timeouts, overtime timeouts, reviews, kickoff returns, defensive delay of games, 12 men on the field. Actually, sorry, it was like 3 different delay of game penalties by the defense.
The poor defense, it's really, it's just getting harder and harder to play defense these days.
And then while it's not new for 2025, I do want to take a shot at the Pac-12 because that's more than a little ridiculous. We do have basketball updates to do. I don't know if you do that first before we get to football. Knock those out. A familiar face returning to the Scarlet and Black. Actually 2 familiar faces. One in an admin role, one in assistant coach, and then a new assistant coach. We have assistant coaches have been hired, and then an admin role. Also got a 2027 commit. I can't keep up. As a player committed, 4-star guard out of Washington. Obviously, we're going to wrap up with questions. What do we learn? There's a new Whataburger menu item that I had to have and give you my thoughts on that. And look ahead to what's coming, because next week is preseason projections and our schedule analysis for Texas Tech. I did hear somewhere that they think that Texas Tech has the second easiest schedule in the Big 12, which I thought was interesting. I don't know if I agree with that, but I don't have the analytics to back that up in either direction. And then after that show, college football will get underway. Week 0 is that weekend. Kansas State, Iowa State, Farmageddon in Dublin. But the following week after that will be our Texas Tech preseason projections and game preview for Arkansas Pine Bluff. So, Michael, we have 10 days until college football is back. 2.5 weeks until Texas Tech kicks off game 1. You said you're excited about to run through a wall.
Little bit. We've had actual football on our televisions since we last spoke.
Can you call
Patrick
actual though?
Patrick Mahomes has thrown at least one touchdown, and I think that was his only pass too. I'm not positive about that, but yeah, there's been football played since then. It's in the air. It was 102 in Lubbock late last week, and then we dipped down into the 90s. I think we were 89 or 90 today, so that was delightful. Had a little bit of
Air is
rain.
cooling off.
Yeah, it's practically brisk here. So it's football's in the air. It's coming. It's on its way quickly, and I'm very excited about Formelgeddon over
That
down
was good.
there.
That was good.
Thank you, thank you. There's a shirt. I saw a shirt that had that, and it was spelt Farm O apostrophe Geddon. It was green and everything. I thought, man, I almost want the shirt, even though I'm obviously not a fan of either Kansas State or Iowa State, but it was a great play on the location of the week 0 matchup.
So you brought up the weather. We had a little bit of an inversion here. Corpus was hot today, hotter than you guys.
Mm.
Y'all got up to 89. It is currently 85 still here. It was
a balmy 85 at that.
It was a toasty 96 degrees here.
My goodness.
But we're coming back down, man. Just like you're getting the cool weather up there. We will be in the low 90s the rest of the way out. Anyways, so let's do basketball first. Let's knock that part out, and then we'll get to football. So we mentioned 3 new hires, 2 as assistant coaches, 1 as an admin. Rem Backamus and Todrick Gocher hired as assistant coaches. Obviously, Todrick Gocher was a player here. And then Duncan Bacon as the assistant director of operations, and he is returning. He served as a GA last season under Coach McCaslin. Hired by SFA to be its director of operations in April. And then I assume just the different levels of what Texas Tech is able to offer. An associate director of operations position at Texas Tech can pay a whole lot more. So he comes right back 4 months later, back to Texas Tech as the associate director of operations. Rem Backamus, if we're not new to reporting this or sharing this, but was a walk-on player for Gonzaga 2012 to 2017, graduate assistant at Baylor. Last year was an assistant at Arizona. And then a couple years before that, he was a director of player personnel. So a few years removed from playing. He's been held a couple of different roles. Recently, like I said, was an assistant coach. And then you get Todrick Gocher, who was hanging up his professional career. He played professionally overseas for 9 years. Currently holds the record for Texas Tech in games played at 136 over 5 years, which that's a lot of games. I think only baseball could exceed that. And even then it would still take 3 full seasons to do it and playing every single game.
Yeah. And, Gocher came through right before not right before, but a few years before the portal became, such a common thing, and transfers were a lot more the norm. So, that's another outlier too, is just having a guy stay with you his entire career, and it be a guy who was so productive from, his earlier years on through his final year.
Yeah. As we do every week streaming, you can join us as we do this. We'll get Nathan here saying Gocher is going to be awesome. He won't let the younger guys shirk their responsibility. So I can't say I disagree with that. I think having a former player that helped get the program going in the right direction is ever going to be a bad addition. He knows what it was like when Texas Tech was riding it rough. So he's got
I was at the game where he proposed to his fiance at the time. I think that was during halftime
may have
or at the
been
end of the
as
game.
well. Or at least I remember that happening. Maybe I wasn't at the game, but I remember that happening. So,
yeah, I always liked the way he carried himself, what he had to say. I have to admit I did not keep up with his professional career probably like I should have. I do follow him on Twitter for what that's worth, but he's not on there tweeting about his professional career all the time. So that's not how he's wired. So I did appreciate how mature he was and how he handled uh, press conferences and everything as a player. And so I know that 10 years removed from that, it's going to be even more impactful and effective for these kids to see it, and for these kids to see a professional basketball player and see that there's a path. Not everybody's destined for the NBA or whatever, but you can still play professional basketball for dang near a decade of playing at Texas Tech.
Yeah, his playing career at Texas Tech overlaps 4 of the 5 years with Rem Bakamus's playing career at Gonzaga. Gocher started in the 2011-2012 season, then wrapped up his career 2015-2016. Bakamus, like you said, was 1 year later. He started 2012-2013 through 2016-2017. But yeah, so he played in 136 games, including only 9 as a true freshman. 8 of those were starts. So he played started 8 games, played in 9 as a true freshman, then played in 31, 32, 32, and 32, respectively, through the last 4 years of his career. Interestingly, at least to me, his redshirt freshman season, even though he played in 31 games, he got 1 start. Sophomore season, he had 22 starts. Junior season, only 10 starts. And then his senior season, 31 of the 32 games were starts. Wrapping up, shooting 40% from the field.
Jeez.
37% from 3. Effective field goal percentage of 49.5%. 74% from the free throw line. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and less than a turnover per game. So
that'll work.
Anyways, love to have that. Love to have him back on the bench as a Red Raider. Not that he ever left or was not a Red Raider, but I think it's a great addition to have a professional basketball player come back and have that kind of influence. And then we mentioned earlier, point guard Jalen Petty committed to the program. 6', 165, 4-star out of Seattle, Washington at Rainier Beach. Reigning Washington Gatorade Player of the Year. So you've collected 2 of those now, 2 of those Gatorade Player of the Years for their starts from Minnesota and now Washington. And Nolan Groves. Sorry, I was blank on his name. But the high school recruiting does still take place. It is still a thing. Basketball, football still take high school recruits.
Yeah.
But apologize to Grant McCaslin, the basketball, that you're 3 months away from mattering to me right now. I'm so sorry. It's football
So
season.
so this crisp air does not scream basketball to you. This
No, no.
crisp 86 degrees that you have at 9:45 at night
The crisp air
over
is
there.
getting me ready for football and for
Okay.
pumpkin spice everything and
Oh yeah, bring it on. Yes.
the earlier sunset times and longer sunsets and shadows and not shadows but the golden hour of the evening coming at a time when you're out experiencing it more just with your schedule, your day to day, you're taking that in as you're driving home and dinner and all that kind of stuff instead of it like it happening after dinner. He's like, I'm done being outside.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho's, you know what? Speaking of, really quickly, there was a full moon this past weekend. We went back out to the beach Saturday night after dinner to watch the moon rise over the horizon, over the Gulf
Well,
of America.
how nice.
It was a sight to behold, especially for the little ones. Um, I would say there was nothing obstructing our view, except for there were a bunch of other cars that had turned around but didn't turn their headlights off.
Mm.
Come on, now. We weren't like right on the water's edge. One, because as I drove on, like I drove onto the beach, I was like, I can still see enough like loose sand. I'm not driving on that. I'm not going to have to get towed out of this stuff. 9 o'clock at night, but so there was
That
just
would have
people
been
in
a
front of
little
us.
embarrassing.
I did see somebody have to get pushed out. They got
Ooh.
stuck, but they were a small enough truck. They were able to get just a little bit of a push. All right. We're gonna save the schedule discussion for next week. Let's do Texas Tech fall camp updates. Um, let's start with running backs. That's what caught my ear most recently. Um, Coach McGuire says that the running backs have been most impressive thus far in fall camp, and that we have running backs. They all three bring their own um, unique qualities. He then spent a good 35 seconds describing the physique of Cam Dickey.
Okay.
Did you hear this part of the interview, Michael?
I
Or
did
press
not.
conference? Okay.
Did it
He
make you
said,
uncomfortable? Or did he
no.
what do you
Well,
mean?
maybe. He was talking about like one. He says that Dickey runs with he said it's like a ball of fury.
Mm.
He's talking about like he's an intense runner. He runs with some intensity. And then he started to describe it as if he was a teenage mutant ninja turtle
Okay.
with their similar physique. And I don't know if anybody else caught it. He, Coach McGuire said, kind of like me when referring to how Dickey reminds him of a teenage mutant ninja turtle, which I thought was funny. But also just talking about the group in general. He talked about wanting them to take on the name, the committee. I think he's got he's got a lot of attention drawn to the running back room. So Michael, let me ask you this: talk as Joey McGuire talks about and rants and raves about the running back room. Now that we're 3 years into this, is this Joey speak? Is it there's some kind of truth to this? Do we need to adjust our expectations coming off of Taj Brooks' record-setting year, or at least the past 2 seasons where he put up 3,000 yards?
I do think there's always going to be a bit of gamesmanship with McGuire. I don't think he can help himself. And I don't think he disingenuinely does it. I do think kind of where he would probably draw the line is talking about an individual. So I think whatever he was saying, about any specific players, I would take that with, pretty much as gospel. But when he talks about a group or a team, when he's in the macro, that's where I get a little bit worried. Maybe not worried, but less less confident. I still remember some of the things that were said in the offseason after the Texas Bowl. That did not come to fruition. Really, we didn't see a lot of that. We didn't see how good we were up front. We didn't see that team would beat the previous team by 2 touchdowns or whatever the number was he said. None of that really showed up. I know there were a lot of injuries, but that happens every year. So I'm more prone to take his individual assessment as carrying more weight than as a group. So I hope he's right, though. I mean, obviously, we all hope that. I haven't seen these guys carry a football. You know, I'm not really familiar with what they've been able to do since they've.
You're not watching the video clips that come out of
the 3-second clips
3 seconds of Joyner running down the sideline, or
or some blown coverage, or an overthrown pass, or
Jacoby Williams running over somebody. Like, wait a minute, that's not his game.
Right. So I hope he's right, and I hope that they really do complement each other. We talked a little bit about that on the last episode, about how nice that would be, how nice it would be to have a hot hand that you could put in for a drive. That even happened a few times last year, especially once Taj was getting a little banged up or got towards the end of the year and the record didn't. It was either in hand or close enough or whatever needed to happen.
Well, he got it against Colorado, and there were how many games after Colorado?
Well, I thought he got it against West Virginia. He got something against West Virginia.
He for sure got it at Colorado, because I remember Sanders called a timeout afterwards. Like of all the crap talking I've done about Sanders, that was actually a cool moment for him, or a redeeming moment. That he took a timeout to let Brooks have some time with that.
I think that was when he broke 5,000, but he broke 1,500 versus West Virginia.
Okay.
I think that was it, because I remember that was what they announced there. But anyway, I like Sanders. I know that he could rub people the wrong way, but he likes Joey. They're pals. We can be pals too.
Okay.
Did I answer your question? I already forgot. I don't know if I did. I think I did.
Well, here's where I stand, Michael. I'm excited about the running backs. I'm actually more hesitant after hearing McGuire rant and rave about him.
I know. His confidence kind of has that effect, man.
Because of what he did a couple years ago. It's like I can't take that seriously now. Like that, him being overly effusive about something now makes me think there's something to be worried about. Like, well, hold on a second.
They can't all be that good, can they? Maybe. Possibly.
Excuse me. Well, it depends on who you believe, because some will tell you that maybe just by the nature of the skill sets in that room and how they're different from Taj Brooks, that we are more set up to have more explosive plays this year. I wouldn't say I disagree with that. Right? Like, yeah. Brooks gave you the more boring 4 and 5 yard runs and had some longer runs, but very few of them. I think there's like one against Arizona. There was a one against Oklahoma State. Maybe a couple versus West Virginia, but they were basically down and out by the time you got to them. But with guys like Joyner and Williams taking on more carries, that their speed and skill set lends it more towards having more explosive plays than what you got from Brooks.
Well, and so that's been the mantra. See that, but yeah, that's been the mantra all off season, is being explosive. I think that was something they recognized, especially through the air, that despite how much did throw the ball and try to make connections with their receivers, it wasn't necessarily the most explosive offense. That still, it matters, but it doesn't. If you're scoring 34 points a game, if it's not explosive, air quotes, so I'm not that concerned. I'm not thinking that everything needs to be a 25-yard bomb or everything needs to be a 15-yard rush. But it seems like they're trying to focus on that more, which is fine, as long as they're successful in doing so. So that may be what we're seeing too, is just kind of pushing that the goal, what they've probably talked about internally, especially with Leftwich and everybody, about trying to push the ball downfield, being more aggressive, but being smart about it, giving Morton more room to air it out, but also giving him the information he needs to make the correct decisions. Fingers crossed.
All right. The other thing I want to talk about was a couple of positions, notably, that are up for grabs. One, I think, it had to do with some, well, I guess both of them could be injury related. One on defense, one on the offensive line. Offensive line, McGuire said right tackle is still kind of out there and up for grabs, and was mentioning Jacob Ponton making a push there, be starting right tackle, which is not a name that I was expecting to hear, especially with the available guys that are either new here from the portal or returning from injury. So that's something to keep an eye on. And then the other one on defense is that John Curry has been making a push at the star position. So he had been on inside linebacker, and had done well, and so apparently has been one of the better defensive players. But with the duo of Jacob Rodriguez and Ben Roberts, wasn't getting enough time on the field. So I don't know if this was a Curry-led thing, or if it was McGuire, or if it was Wood, or a position coach saying he's too good to get buried on a different position where he could be cross-trained, if you will, into the hybrid star position. It does help that AJ McCarty is returning or still out on injury, and then the young guy Michael Dingle wasn't seem like it's an every down type of player for that position. He had done well previously in some spot duty, but more is almost like a rush specialist. Did play linebacker responsibilities and did have some coverage, but I think his pass rush grading out was what was catching people's eyes. But John Curry could be your star, at least for part of the season. So that's out there. And then I think there was some talk at corner that it was going to be Bryce Pollock and Macho Stevenson, but now Dante Balfour is making that a 3-person conversation for 2 positions. So there you go for that. Anything else fall camp related? If you caught anything, or did you watch the minute 13 video from Saturday scrimmage, or you got your blood pumping, Michael?
Nothing. I'm not quick enough to make assessments on 7-second clips, but I'll keep trying. So I mean, nothing immediate that caught me.
Okay. Kickoff luncheon coming up next week. Michael, are you going?
I'm not yet. I haven't decided.
Okay.
I was just looking at it right now to see if there were still tickets, and I don't know if there are or not. It's hard for me to tell. It's telling me my credit card's expired. That it expired in 2017, which is not correct. I don't know where it's pulling that information from. But
It's a
anyway,
card you used to buy tickets 10 years ago.
yeah, right.
Still on file.
Still on file. For some reason, even though uh, I've bought several things over the whatever. So the kickoff luncheon, for those of you in town, Thursday, August 21st at the Civic Center. It's $30 per ticket. I do think they still have availability there. The doors open at 11:15 in the morning. Program starts at 12. And I know that the band will be there. I believe Palm Squad and cheerleaders will be there. And of course, you'll hear from Joey McGuire and Kirby Hocutt. Um, so that's next Thursday. And I may or may not be going. I just kind of need to see what's going on. What's going on at the old office? See if I can cut out for a banker's lunch.
You know, Michael, if I was still in town, I'd tag team that with you. I'd go with you.
Well, it's too bad. I'm going to buy 2 tickets, and if you don't show
Just-
up, I'm just going to be really mad.
Okay. Well, I'll set my alarm for 2:30
Wednesday afternoon.
I'll just go ahead and drive into Wednesday afternoon.
I need a couple days off, boss. I've got to go to the Texas Tech luncheon. I'm meeting a friend for lunch in Lubbock, Texas on Thursday.
I need some time off from meeting a friend for lunch.
Gotta take a couple days. It's fine. I'll be back by Friday.
And at that point, we're getting ready for Farmageddon.
Farmageddon.
I will never not find that funny. All right. Polls. Coaches poll and AP poll have both come out since we last recorded. Texas Tech makes an appearance in both. I think Texas Tech is 24th in the coaches poll, 23rd in the AP preseason poll. This would be your first time appearing in the AP preseason poll since 2008. I think we all know how that went. I think you were low teens, like 11, 12-ish.
That was a good year.
It did end up being
if I recall correctly.
You were coming off an 8-4 season. Granted, you were returning a lot. 2007, 2008. A great quarterback. You had the Blitnikoff Award winner. You had an offensive line that was just stupid, ridiculously good. Large individuals.
Little guy named Mike Leach over there.
And then, that ended up going your way pretty well that season. Climbed all the way up to number 2. And then other Big 12 teams of note, Arizona State checks in at 11, Kansas State 17, Iowa State 22. You're at 23, which I think is very appropriate given our show. And there are 5 other Big 12 teams receiving votes, including teams that would be 26, 27, and 28, and BYU, Utah, and Baylor, respectively. TCU and Colorado also receiving votes. So if you were to look at the top 28, you have 17. The Big 12 has 7 teams there. So 1 in every 4. And then I don't know how many schools are receiving votes, but you've got 9 of your members, Big 12 members, receiving votes.
I wonder, I've voiced my disdain for preseason polls quite a bit, and even though Tech's in one now, I still have to just kind of tap the brakes a little bit. I can enjoy it somewhat. I can enjoy that number is going to help Texas Tech. It's going to probably get more eyeballs on them, especially if they go 3-0 through non-con.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely going to help Farmageddon with a couple of ranked opponents facing each other at a neutral site. And as much as I bemoan the whole thing, there is something about when you pull up the score app and you see 2 teams against each other with numbers next to them, you're thinking, well, I better check that game out.
It means something.
Yep.
It means
as
more.
Opposed to, there's one over here with two no numbers. What are we doing? but that's typically where Texas Tech has been the last 15 years.
Yeah,
So,
you gotta go in the Big 12 section of the Score app.
right. So Nathan brought up a great point. Was it Illinois was number, what are they?
12?
12. Yeah. I mean, I feel like as well as things went for them last year, that has to be a blip, right? That's lightning in a bottle. That's never going to happen again. The second they ran into Ohio State, they just absolutely got pummeled.
Well,
I mean,
Ohio
it's
State was
Ohio
pretty
State.
good.
They were extremely good last year. Pretty much everybody did. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not quite sure I buy that one.
I think it's interesting. Illinois and Indiana are both ranked.
Yeah. And my browser is doing an awful formatting thing here. Okay, so now I can actually see everything. So I'll just quickly run through them all, starting at 1. Texas.
Do you really?
What?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do all 25. I'm going to do it live. 1 is Texas. 2, Penn State. 3, Ohio State. 4, Clemson, or Clemson, as they prefer to be called. 5 is Georgia. 6, Notre Dame. 7, Oregon. 8, Alabama. 9, LSU. 10, Florida. Nope, Miami. 10 is Miami. 11, Arizona State. 12, the Fighting Illinois for whatever reason. 13, South Carolina? Question mark. I'm Ron Burgundy. 14, Michigan. 15, Florida. 16, SMU. Also, seems generous. 17, Kansas State. 18, Oklahoma. Very generous. Well, guess what? We'll find out when they play Illinois State on August 3rd. Oh, no, that won't help at all. 19, Texas A&M. 20, Indiana. 21, Ole Miss. 22, Iowa State. 23, your Texas Tech Red Raiders. 24, Tennessee. And making an appearance from outside of the Power 4/5, Boise State of the Mountain West at number 25.
I'll go through the others receiving votes really quickly. BYU, I'm just going to go in order. BYU, Utah, Baylor, Louisville, USC, Southern Cal, Georgia Tech, Missouri, Tulane, Robs, Nebraska, UNLV, Toledo, Auburn, James Madison, wow, Memphis, Florida State, Duke, Liberty, Navy, Iowa, TCU, Pitt, Army, Colorado, Louisiana Lafayette. They got 1 point.
So what's interesting about all that is, and I think I'm correct in saying this, the team that Bill Belichick coaches did not get a single vote in the preseason poll.
Louisiana Lafayette got some. James Madison got some.
Yeah.
Liberty got some.
Yeah. What were the Tar Heels last year? Oh, obviously you look up UNC Tar Heels, and it just tells you basketball stuff. Hang on, I have to be specific with Google here. What did they do? They were 6 and 7. Okay. But you still think someone would think, well, Bill Belichick's going to figure this out.
He's got them going the right direction.
Yeah, already. You could just tell.
Just righted the ship.
Yeah. Things are different. They're in oh hell, what's the town they're in? Chapel Hill. Yeah, things are different. Things are different in Chapel Hill this year. Chapel Hill Bill is what they should call him, if they don't already. I think that's what I'll call him.
Bill.
That's what I'm going to call him. Okay, that's all I got on the rankings.
All right, let's get to the meat of what we came here to do, Michael. Let's talk about what's new in 2025. And we're going to start with rankings. So that's going to be the biggest update to the college football playoff. Last season, being 8 months removed from it, I think what they did last season made no sense. Like, I want to be, I want to find fault that they're just trying to like clear space out for more Big Ten and SEC teams coming through. But like, I get it. Competitively, it makes sense. So what they're doing is, I'm sure you all know this, but just as a reminder, college football is implementing a straight seeding model for this season and probably foreseeable future. So the top 4 teams in the final rankings, regardless of their conference affiliation, will receive buys, as opposed to last season, where it was the first round buys to the top 4 conference champions. I think we all understand that not all conferences are built the same.
Yeah, this isn't like the NFC South versus the NFC East or something. It's not. It's apples to toothbrushes. So I kind of get it too. Even though Arizona State really should have won the game, they lost against Texas.
Yeah, so I'm going to go through and I'm going to talk about like, okay, we're going to talk about what the seeding looked like. Remind everyone what the seeding looked like for this season, what it would have looked like with this new format, and what those games would have been. But going back to the rule, the 5 highest ranking conference champions will still receive automatic bids, but not guaranteed a bye. So at Boise State, conference champion will still make it in the playoff, but not guaranteed a bye.
Yeah, and also this puts the bye back into play for Notre Dame, because with the previous system,
you had to be a conference champion.
Yeah, they were never going to be a conference champion, and so that's how that's not how, but they got left out of that first round of buys.
Yeah. Did it mattering for them? No,
Obviously
not. They ran through from their position as the 7th seed. All right. So this year, the playoff seeding was Oregon 1, Georgia 2, Boise State 3, Arizona 4 was your top 4 with the buys. Texas 5, Penn State 6, Notre Dame 7, Ohio State 8, Tennessee 9, Indiana 10, SMU 11, Clemson 12. So, Mike, I don't know if you could, if I could have made this table any more confusing, but I color coded the matchups for the first 2 rounds. So you had obviously the 5-12 Texas Clemson, Penn State SMU, Notre Dame Indiana, Ohio State Tennessee. And then they matched up with Oregon. The Texas Clemson winner went up against Arizona State, obviously. Penn State SMU went up against Boise State, and Notre Dame Indiana went up against Georgia. All right, so this season, with this new rule, here's how it would have broken down. I'm not changing anybody's rankings. I'm going off the final CFP rankings of the season, or before the playoff. Oregon 1, Georgia 2. Nothing changes for those 2. Texas 3, so they get a 2-spot bump. Penn State 4, they got a 2-spot bump. Notre Dame 5, 2-spot bump. Ohio State 6, 2 spots up. Tennessee 7, 2 spots up. Indiana 2 spots up at 8. Boise State falls from 3 down to 9. SMU slides up 1 to 10. Arizona State falls from 4 to 11. Clemson stays at 12. So the matchups, first round would have been Notre Dame Clemson. That's pretty intriguing to me. Ohio State, Arizona State. Arizona State would have lost their first game regardless. Tennessee, SMU. Tennessee may have won their first game, their first round game.
Yep. They wouldn't have had to. Well, I guess it was the second round where they ran shirtless or whatever the heck they did. That didn't work before the game.
Oh, yeah, I don't.
Up in Columbus. You remember they warmed up? They were showing they weren't cold. And then they lost by, I don't know, 3 touchdowns.
Well, because that was their first round.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Okay.
So they would have hosted. That's what I'm saying. First round, they would have hosted SMU.
Yeah.
In this
Tennessee
alternate universe.
Yeah. And then Indiana would have hosted Boise State. Across the board, I think those are much better matchups, much more interesting match. Like, okay, who would have benefited from this? I mean, Notre Dame got a better matchup. Like, it would have been more entertaining, I think. But a 5-12, I mean, the 5 is still going to be the favorite there. Arizona State obviously would have been the biggest loser, along with Boise State. Although the Indiana Boise State matchup doesn't mean that like Boise State wouldn't have made it into the second round. I think the biggest loser in this new format would have been Arizona State, hands down. So giving up their first round bye and then catching Ohio State week 1 or round 1.
Yeah. In their house.
Yeah. And then the second round would have been the winner of Indiana Boise State versus Oregon. I think Oregon makes it through into the third round. Unlike last season when they got bounced by Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, and it wasn't even close. The winner of Tennessee SMU, I think, would have been Tennessee, but I don't know. They would have matched up with Georgia. The winner of Ohio State Arizona State would have matched up with Texas. So Ohio State Texas would have been a repeat matchup that you got from the other format. And then Notre Dame Clemson winner would have matched up with Penn State. Again, I think you had that. Right?
No.
Didn't you get Penn State Notre Dame?
No, you got Penn State and Boise State.
No, but after that.
Oh, maybe so.
I don't have the bracket.
I think you did.
I don't know, man.
This is how long it's been.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
I know. I kind of hate that the Big 12 isn't guaranteed a bye, but as I did really enjoy the playoff last year, though. I enjoyed it even more than I thought I would. I liked watching these teams have to settle it on the field. So if Oregon has a gripe from last year, I kind of get it that they got quote unquote stuck playing Ohio State as a number 8 seed who should have never been a number 8 seed probably. But beat them, win. But we don't get to play hypotheticals at Texas Tech. I don't know why Oregon or anybody else gets to. So I think that's what's so intriguing about this is, okay, the seeding can be what it can be. I do think some of the games may be a little bit more interesting because of it. I think way too much was written about how the games are all one-sided or whatever they were. People have obviously never watched playoff NFL football before. I mean, those aren't always scintillating 3-point outcomes every single time. I mean, this is just how sports works. You've never seen, game 6 of an NBA, round 1 series where the team gets blown out by 25 at home. Happens all the time. Or a team loses a 27-point lead or whatever. So stuff like this happens because it's sports. I don't want to get hung up on that, but for those that this will probably be closer games. But I just really enjoyed the fact that these teams didn't get to just rely on a committee and some computers or whatever to dictate how the season ended. They actually had to go out there and win some really tough games in some tough environments. And they're going to have to do it again.
Yeah. And I like it.
Yep.
The schedule for the playoffs this year, they're going to be a month long, as I think they were last season. First round will be December 19th and 20th. Obviously, the on campus for that first round. One game on Friday the 19th, 3 games on Saturday the 20th. Quarterfinals will be a week and a half later, almost 2 weeks later, to go on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. New Year's Eve will be Cotton Bowl at 7:30, and then 3 games on New Year's Day: Orange Bowl at noon, Rose Bowl at 4, Sugar Bowl at 8. Semifinals 8th and 9th with the Fiesta Bowl and Peach Bowl, and then the championship 10 days later, Monday the 19th in Miami. No, sorry, Miami.
There you go.
All right. Other updates. Let's go with injury timeouts. A lot of these have to do with making sure that the pace of play, we're gonna steal that terminology from baseball, isn't too negatively impacted by shenaniganry. If a player presents as injured after the ball is spotted by the officiating crew for the next play, that player's team will be charged a timeout. So you won't see a player look to the sideline, then fall over with a cramp. With the manufacturing of injuries there to slow down the other team, I'm sure they'll find other ways to do it. They'll just do it quicker.
Before the ball's spotted.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the solution. I don't remember it happening that much after the ball's spotted. Maybe it did, but it seems like it was just kind of.
Well, they spot the ball so quickly now to make sure
that's true.
The clock is running. The other point to this, if the team does not have any timeouts remaining, a 5-yard delay of game penalty will be assessed to that team.
So for those of you keeping score at home, this is essentially a defensive penalty, as is most of these that we're going to run through. So, your wideout's not out there faking an injury after the ball is spotted. It's going to be the D-backer. It's going to be your middle linebacker, or that nose tackle whose knee just all of a sudden gave out, but he's good. He's good to go in 37 seconds. So yeah, it's a defensive penalty for sure.
With that, Michael, let's go through the rest of the defensive tweaks. Okay. Defense simulating the snap count. No player can call defensive signals that simulate the sound or cadence of the offensive signals. The defensive terms of move and stem would be reserved for players on that side of the ball and could not be used by the offense. So again, they don't want the defense simulating the snap count or trying to entice the offense to false start. 12 men on the field penalty on the defense. After the 2-minute timeout in either half, if the defense commits a foul with 12 or more players on the field and all players participate in the play, namely this happened with Oregon a couple of years ago. Dan Lanning left 12 guys on the field on purpose. The officials will administer a 5-yard penalty. The offensive team would have the option to reset the game clock back to the time at the start of the play. If the 12th player is attempting to leave the field and has no influence in the play, the defensive team will be penalized 5 yards with no adjustment to the game clock. So if 12 players participate in the play, the offense can keep the game clock where it was, plus the 5-yard penalty. If the defensive players are just caught running off from the side, no time will be adjusted, but you still get the 5-yard penalty.
I wonder, they're leaving themselves open to a lot of interpretation here. So what defines participation in the play?
I think
we'll find out. I guess.
I mean, it's clear, if a player is running the sideline, he's one step off from the sideline and they snap the ball. Okay, he's not participating in the play. But like, if he's running to the sideline and is, I don't know,
and stops running because they haven't snapped the ball yet.
or like is in the vicinity of like where the cornerback is covering up a receiver, is he considered participating in the play? If he runs into an offensive player trying to get off the field, I don't know. It's a good point. It's a lot of like surprisingly more gray area to that rule than you would initially think. Defensive delay of game. The defense cannot simulate a snap trying to get the offensive player to false start. So
it kind of goes with the snap count that you said earlier, but it went a little further, saying that even abrupt coordinated movements will result in a delay of game penalty on the defense. So not only can you not simulate an actual audible snap count or snap call, but when you shift linemen up front or anything like that, whatever is defined as a quote unquote abrupt coordinated movement, that could result in a delay of game penalty for the defense.
And the Georgia front was very known to do this, right? Like,
oh yes,
they would get lined up and then the entire line would shift very quickly over one gap. Yes, does that create an advantage for them getting off, like confusing the offensive lineman? Like without trying to engage or draw a false start, there is a tactical advantage to, like, if everybody's got like, okay, my assignment is to go nose up and to the right, and then all of a sudden I have a player there that wasn't there 2 seconds ago, and then the ball is snapped, and I don't have time to make that adjustment. Yeah, you've got that that advantage there. But I think they're also trying to do away with like the entire defensive line moves, and then an offensive tackle flinches or something.
Sure.
Defensive substitutions. So going back to the 12 men on the field, a rule was also added to ensure defensive substitutions are being made in a timely manner while the offense is required to wait. We all know, like last year, because Texas Tech was caught on the offensive side of this quite a bit. If an offensive team makes a substitution, they would be required to wait until a defense had made their own substitutions before snapping the ball. We've seen defenses abuse this by substituting slowly and running down the offensive play clock. I pose the question, like, did they even have to? Like, how long would the official stand on the ball if the offensive player made a substitution, and while the official standing over the ball, the defensive end opposite his sideline gets up and starts walking off the field? How long does the official require to sit down there and not allow the ball to be snapped?
Mm-hmm.
We never knew what that limit was.
Well, and you've got guys that are 6'7" and 350 running off the
lumbering
field versus guys that are 6'1", 180. That what is timely for that? Are they going to compare to their 40 times and say, well, you've got to be at least at 60% of your 40 time, and we've got all that accounted for, and we're tracking it through Amazon, and we're going to make sure that these next gen stats or whatever are showing that you're running at a clip of what would equal a 6.5 second 40.
Yeah. The new rule states that substitutions must be done at an athletic pace.
Mm-hmm.
What is that, Michael? What is an athletic pace?
Well, it's not a medium pace, but it's
not a full sprint either.
It's in between a medium pace and something else. I don't know what.
The definition of athletic pace is up to the referee's discretion, and if they deem it does not reach the standard, the center judge will be removed from the ball, and the offense will be free to snap the ball.
Which I kind of enjoy that.
Incurring the penalty, 12 men on the field.
Wouldn't that be great?
Like, he's not moving fast enough. Go ahead and snap.
I hope the refs just I hope it's up to the refs' discretion, kind of like holding and everything else is, where you just realize, oh, this crew's not messing around. You better get the heck off the field. If someone's just jogging off after the, during the
And
second
does
or
that
third series of the game, and that official's like, nope, nope, snap it, go. I don't care.
and does that standard change throughout the game? Like, okay, 7 minutes,
They're more
halfway
tired.
through halfway
Get
through
more
the
time.
first quarter, are they allowing more time for the defense to make that substitution versus like a minute 15 left in the game? Like, no, you got to go. Like, we're not letting you just jack around here. Like, to me, like I would assume they would want to get that tightened up the later into the game. You'd want
Yeah,
to get
you
that
would
done
think.
faster.
Yep.
So, but who knows? It's up to discretion. More judgment calls. All right. Let's wrap up with terminology and timeouts. Review terminology. This is to protect the ego of referees, I think, or officials. So when a play goes to review, terms will be confined to upheld or overturned, and the terms confirmed and stands will no longer be used. So you know how they would say, like, you'd get some kind of value judgment on how close the review was to being overturned or whatever. It's like, well, if the call stands, they've done this basically since they rolled out the review. If the call stands, like, there wasn't enough to overturn it essentially, so we're just going to leave it as is. But if it was confirmed,
Like, oh, we got it right, guys.
we got it right. Now it's just going to be
Get off our butts. We got it
now
right.
it's going to be like, it's the play is, the call is upheld regardless of how much evidence there was in the positive, or overturned. Again, I think it's just to not bring into question how much was there. Video evidence was seen by the replay official. Does it make a difference? No, but it's on the
No.
rules for this year.
Well, it's they have less words to think of, so maybe the reviews will take less time.
Yeah, maybe.
One can hope. I wonder if they're going to review how fast that nose tackle ran off the field before the line judge let him snap the ball.
Is that a reviewable play?
Probably not.
All right, we already did injury timeouts. Let's do overtime timeouts, because this was a big deal with the Georgia. Was it Georgia Tech?
Yes, I believe so. Yep.
If the game reaches a third overtime, each team will have one timeout beginning with the third overtime until the game is ended. Previously, each team got a new set of time, or a new timeout every overtime period. And then what you ended up seeing was what Georgia did. Like, you would line up for the 2-point play. You'd see what everything is. You call a timeout, everybody would reset, and then you go back out and do it again. And they did that literally every, I think it was third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh overtimes.
Yep.
It drew that out so long because
And
Kirby
they ran
Smart
a commercial during it too.
You'd get the formation and any kind of movement, timeout, reset. Now, third overtime, you get one timeout for the rest of however long this is going to go. That's all you get. I don't like that aspect of it, that you only get one. I think maybe you get one every other, like you keep it to odds, third, fifth, whatever. So you don't get to you stop at every single attempt, but I don't know. But the other thing that Michael pointed out, networks are no longer allowed to run commercial breaks after the second overtime. So once you get there, there's no, like, we're going to run this thing until the game is over.
You are looking live.
You're not cutting away.
Nope.
To talk about whatever.
How it's 1 a.m. and they're just getting underway in Hawaii.
So, all right, last thing, Pac-12, Michael. I had not been keeping up with realignment because it didn't affect me whatsoever. But the Pac-12 is the cockroach that will not die. They are adding members to to get back up to the 8 required to retain FBS status, they had to have 8 football members. And tell me if this conference sounds like another conference that you're more familiar with. Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, San Diego State, Utah State, Gonzaga, not in football, Texas State. Outside of Gonzaga and Texas State, what does that sound like?
It's like I'm just breathing that mountain air.
Sounds like the Mountain West.
That's exactly it. It's rebranded. If that's so funny to me, because if Oregon State and Washington State had joined the Mountain West, do you think that would be any chance of that being called other than another group of 5 or 6 now?
No.
But since they joined the Pac-12 too, the Pac-12 minus 10, it's still going to be perceived as one of the quote unquote power conferences.
I actually
just
don't
because I don't get it. 6 + 2 = one thing, but 2 + 6 = something completely different. We can't call that 8. No. That's not 8. That's 16 divided by 2 or something. That's not 8. But this is 8. 6 + 2. That's how you do it. That's how you make 8.
I think the conference commissioner is trying to claim the quotes here, air quotes, top 5 league status. They didn't say power 5 because I think that's pretty much the power 4. Nathan says every member minus Gonzaga is a state school. All state has an opportunity here.
Yes, you're in good hands. Oh man, it is truly all state football. It is all state football. Now basketball, Gonzaga is going to be the outlier, but that's absolutely true. That is funny.
So yeah, they take 2 legacy members of a Power 5 conference, add 7 group of 5 schools to the conference, and still want to be considered a Power 5 conference. You weren't even left like you were essentially left the bottom 2 teams in that Power 5 conference, Oregon State and Washington State. And then you added 6 Mountain West teams, an independent, a Big West or whatever there was, and a Sun Belt team, and now still want to be considered a top 5. No. Sorry about you. I thought that was funny. That conference will go into effect 2026, July 1st. But I want to point that out because I had not been paying attention to all that. I saw that update come through because Texas State was the last one to be added recently, a month or so ago. Yeah, Pac-12 remains hilarious.
I mean, are people talking about the travel from New Braunfels and how hard it is to get to New Braunfels? Has anyone brought that up? What's that going to be like going from New Braunfels to Pullman? Multiple times.
Or Corvallis.
Yes.
Or Logan, Utah. I mean, that is, if I remember correctly, that is almost a 2-hour drive north out of Salt Lake City.
I think that's accurate.
And there's like one way in. Like it is, you drive north and you have to then go through the mountains. It's not like there's a small regional airport in Logan, Utah. No, it's a tiny town. I've been there. I toured the campus of Utah State. I almost transferred there. Beautiful. I had friends from high school go there, play football for them. but it is as remote as you think it can be.
Yeah.
Colorado State, that's in Fort Collins, right?
I believe so, yes.
That's probably not very easy to get to. Fresno, I mean, I got a bunch of small regional airports in California. I'm sure they got one close. Gonzaga, I mean, that's Seattle. You're fine.
So, New Braunfels, you have to fly out of San Antonio. Then you can fly from there to Pullman. So anyway, yeah.
Well, you keep saying New Braunfels. Isn't Texas State in San Marcos?
Oh, crud. It is. You're right.
So they'd go down to Austin? And even that, like that.
Yeah. Great call. Great call by you. Good correction there.
Let's see. Let's go Austin. Nope, come on. Austin. To where are we going? Let's go to Corvallis.
San Marcos has a regional airport.
Okay. San Marcos.
I think.
Nope. Well, did I spell it right? No. We're just gonna leave it in Austin because that pulled up. To what would be the closest to Corvallis? Is that Portland? Let's see. Let's go the weekend of that and come back on the 5th. What does that look like? Man, I mean, I'm sure they're not flying just straight commercial, but
Eugene, I think you fly into Eugene for Corvallis.
But to load up in San Marcos, drive to Austin, fly to either Portland or Eugene, and then drive down to Corvallis. Or you do that, you fly from Austin to Salt Lake to Portland, or there was another one. You can stop in Denver.
That's all I'm getting at, is that's going to be the case for almost every single one of these. Yet Lubbock is too hard to get to.
So remote.
So remote. Just so remote. The airport is only 12 minutes from campus. Too far away. Too remote.
We talked about, like, even within the Big 12, we're one of the easiest ones to get to.
Yes. You may not have a direct flight, boo-hoo, but
you're not driving an hour and a half and then
here.
Flying and then driving an hour and a half. Because, like, can you fly into Waco?
No.
Can you fly into Fort Worth? You can't fly into Morgantown. Can't fly into Ames. Can't fly into Manhattan or Lawrence. Actually, no, you can fly into Manhattan.
This is our Super Bowl.
You can fly into Houston, but if you go to the wrong Houston airport, shoot. You could be driving an hour and a half just to get across town. All right. Let's wrap this one up, Michael. Because we're going back on a weekly schedule and we went 2.5 hours last time. Let's get to the questions that people want to know. Are these the questions you called me to answer? And then wrap up with what we learned. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right, I'm going to play the sound.
Now, are these really the questions that I was called here to answer?
Who's in the box? Oh, what's in the box?
I'm Ron Burgundy?
Damn it! Who typed a question mark on the teleprompter?
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
a good movie. Few Good Men. I know I said that last time. I watched it recently. It's a good movie.
It's a cable classic. I stop every time it's on TV. Oh, what are they? Oh, they're playing baseball. Cool. What's going on? Who ordered the code red? Oh, yeah, it's softball. You're right. Kevin Bacon, up to no good.
Cracks me up. He's in that movie.
Oh, I guess my question's for you. I have a question that I'm asking you.
What you got?
How was that new Whataburger burger? It was the Bacon Wrangler Double. I've heard through the grapevine that you had that burger, and I need to know what it was like. Did a seagull eat it out of your hand?
Seagull did not. I have not had any seagull food thievery. Granted, I'm not giving them the opportunity to do it. A-holes.
You've left
I've learned my ways.
You've left the top up on the Lamborghini. You've not taken the convertible down while you're on the beach. Not making that mistake again.
Not ever again. All right, so I did get it. It may have been the day it came out. I'm trying to get to the promotional thing when it pops up here so I can tell you what it was. All right. If you haven't heard about this burger, haven't looked at it up yet, it's a Whataburger's most Texas burger ever, is what they say. Bacon Wrangler Double, crispy onion strings, chipotle aioli, savory bacon, and tangy pickles.
See, I like when they don't go overboard, and they tend to not to on their. I mean, sometimes they do, but on their all-time favorites or whatever, simple is best. This burger has 4 things. You're welcome, but every now and then they'll do. They might go a little bit beyond that. So, what do we got? We're talking chipotle mayo. Saying something is the most Texan burger ever, and then saying it has chipotle aioli on it doesn't really
flies in the face of it.
Yeah, that doesn't really work. But
it was a good
delicious.
Sauce. Yeah, it's a good sauce.
It sounds delicious. I'm not saying it doesn't. The Texas tradition is what Whataburger already sells, which is the number 1 mustard burger. That's a Texas thing.
And I got that bad boy for 75 cents the other day.
Oh man, I know we were in Colorado during that, so I missed the crazy 75-cent day.
So, okay, it comes with fried onion strings, that aioli sauce, pickles. I added grilled jalapenos and grilled onions. Although I think it says grilled onions are on it, but it wasn't in the description. But I for sure had it. It was way good.
So you had 2 different kinds of onions on there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They're both cooked, but cooked differently.
Well, yeah.
I still maintain I cannot do raw onion. It is too.
Do you ever order like French fries and mashed potatoes?
I mean, I used to. Like when I was like 10.
Well, they're same thing, just cooked differently.
Yeah, it's too different. I mean, I understand you're getting double up on something. Like we went to a Mexican restaurant the other night, and Samantha doesn't like to eat rice, so she typically doubles up on beans. She gets 2 beans.
What about the papas? What about the places with the papas? Does she ever do that? Beans and papas? Oh man, that's the way to go.
So we got double beans, and the waiter's like, "Well, do you want charro beans or refried beans?" Or he's like, "Or do you want an order of each?" I was like, "You want to do one of each?" She's like, "No, double refried." I was like, "Okay, fine." So we almost had 2 different kinds of beans.
You don't want the bean flight.
No. Anyways,
I'll have your finest flight of beans.
Finest beans, sir. No, it was good. I really enjoyed it. I
may try to get that this week. We'll see.
I think I got it on I may have changed out the bun, because I do that every now and then. What if it's I can't remember which one it was. Sometimes I'll order the burgers no bun, and I'll substitute a bun I have at the house. That is branded as keto bun. Not that we're keto, but like it just the protein and fibers and lower calories. I make that work a whole lot better into what I'm trying to do with my diet than a 310 calorie 5-inch bun that's been buttered and toasted, and
Sounds really good though.
it's good, but and then like I said the other day on the 75th anniversary, I did get their number one. I did add cheese to it. I think that one I got with no bun, and I took that home, or I picked it up on my way home, because it was a day I was going to our youngest son's pre-K meet the teacher. And he wasn't even in town yet, so I went to pre-K meet the teacher by myself. Michael, I can't tell you how many weird looks I got as a dad walking into a school, an elementary school, with no kid,
With your backpack,
with all my school supplies
the tiny backpack.
loaded up, ready to go.
Hello.
And no kid. I did get more than one. Sir, can I help you? I'm supposed to be here, okay?
I pay taxes here.
I'm paid for this.
Hey,
Anyways.
I was gonna ask you another question.
Yeah, what's up?
Are you watching the new season of King of the Hill? Did you? And I don't know if we've ever talked about it. Did you watch King of the Hill previously, or have you?
I have seen seconds of King
Oh,
of the Hill.
man.
I've never watched. I don't think I've ever watched a full episode. I've not seen any of it.
You're
new
just.
or old.
Oh man.
What about you? You watch a new one?
Oh yeah. I'm not going to claim I've seen every single episode of it on its first run. There's probably a few I missed, but definitely something I liked and enjoyed, and watched a little bit of the previous season from 2010, I think, before this one started. And it's 10 episodes. I'm already watched 9 of them.
Oh no.
I've just really enjoyed it. I'm surprised. I think they hit it out of the park. I think the first one was kind of odd, but it makes sense because they had to reestablish some things, and some people's voices sound different, and unfortunately some people have passed away since they last made it, and some died while they were making this season, so that kind of threw some things off, obviously. But the writing is still there. It's so funny. There's so many things that they can riff on that have happened in the last 15 years. And I like the time jump. I like that Bobby's older. I think Joseph needs way more screen time. He's been one of the funniest characters when he just pops up randomly for a couple minutes here and there. Peggy has been, since it's on Hulu, Spencer, they are allowing a little bit more fruitful language. Now they don't, they don't overdo it and they don't abuse it, but there have been 2 F-bombs that Peggy has dropped, but they bleep them. and that, I think that makes it even funnier. And one of them was, "You've got to be effing kidding me," and it just bleeps it out. And I'm like, because forgot what she was mad about, but it was just something about her ego or something. It was so funny. Anyway, in the one I just watched, episode 9, I mean, she had 3 or 4 cussing fits on that when she hurt her knee, and I'm like, of all the ones to pick that's going to be earmuffs, Aunt Peggy's on. I've enjoyed that. Just all these little touches that they've done have been a lot of fun. So anyway, even if you didn't really watch the first one, I can't tell you though. It's just been a part of my life for 20 years. So I don't know if I can just tell you, oh yeah, just jump into the new season. You don't need to know anything else. That's probably not true. You should probably watch a little bit before, but man, it is funny. It's really good.
If I were to watch season 14, do I have to know how much do I have to know going into it? How much do I have to watch going into it? Do I need to watch the first 13 seasons?
No, I don't think so. I think you'll get the gist you might watch, even just pick a handful from season. Like I would maybe do like 3 episodes from the last 3 or 4 seasons, something like that. And
Where
you
are
can
they
just kind of
found?
get
So
a
I know
gist.
the
Hulu.
14 is on Hulu. Are they all on Hulu?
They are all on Hulu, yes. So that'll at least give you an idea. But yeah, I can't even claim because they don't really. It's not like linear. Um, the you know the kids don't really grow up. Joseph's voice changes at one point, but and they might have gone from like 9 to 12 or something like that. I mean, so over their first run of 13 years, really everyone stays roughly the same age. Uh, the stuff that happened the week before, yeah, some of it they call back to, but not so much. It's a lot of it's one-off stuff. It doesn't really build, so it's not like missing an episode of 24 or something and you're going to be lost. Oh crap, what happened 2 episodes ago?
I missed 1 hour of the day.
Yeah.
Now I have no idea what's going on.
You can just kind of plop down and hang out with everybody in Ireland for a little bit whenever you want and revisit again later. But yeah, it's been pretty good. That was my question.
I may have to dive into this a little bit on my lunch breaks.
Oh, it's perfect. It's perfect for lunch. It's break because it's, even if you do the commercials, it's still going to be 30 minutes dead on. So
okay, may have to check it out. All right, let's wrap this up with what did we learn? What do you say?
Okay. What did we learn, Palmer?
I don't know, sir.
I don't know either.
All right. I learned that at this point, Michael, I'm ready for football. There was something. I went through the playoff run of Ohio State a couple weeks ago, and I watched all of their games.
How do you even do that? Are they on ESPN?
Yeah, they were on YouTube. So I watched a game versus Tennessee, versus Oregon, versus Texas, and then the national title game, and I was like, "Holy, they were so freaking good!" And they just went on a tear, man. Which like begs the question. I'm sure, like, Ohio State fans are like, "This is what we have to live with." Like, how did they lose to Michigan?
Yep.
Like they have like such a mental block. I don't know. And then I realized, like, we're so close to college football actually being back. It's next weekend. Then after that, like, Texas Tech plays 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
Pat Green plays on opening day versus Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Is that the concert schedule? I saw that
Yeah.
came out. I haven't looked at it.
He's the only one I knew. I'll be flat honest with you. Of the first 4 they announced, Pat Green was the only one I knew. And we might try to make that because that's before soccer season starts. And I think I told you this, but I didn't get season tickets, but I got the Raider Park parking pass this year.
For soccer?
No, for the parking garage for football games.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So I could just go hang out at the Fraser or whatever if there's not a soccer game or something going on. And there's not one on the 30th of August. So maybe I can convince the fam to listen to some Wave on Wave, and maybe we can carry on together. Maybe we go down southbound 35 together. Try to Texas 1880, riding a horse, Masked Rider. Nothing.
I don't know any. No. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So the announced lineup so far, you mentioned Pat Green on August 30th, country artist Grant Gilbert on September 6th, rapper Too Short on September 13th, Waka Flocka Flame on October 11th when Texas Tech hosts Kansas.
Yeah, so there's still obviously 3 more games that Texas Tech will host. So they may not be able to release those names yet, or they may not know who they are yet. But we'll see who else may be showing up for
Odds on
Raider Alley, whatever it is.
DJ Diesel making a comeback.
Oh man, I'm hoping he's there for either Oklahoma State or BYU. I've got tickets to those games. Pulling for the Diesel.
That was one we went to last year. Now, granted, that was an employee event for the hospital I was working at. I worked for Covenant, by the way. Just setting the record straight. I would never work for UMC.
How dare you?
It's commie bastards. Trying to claim they have a children's hospital. No, you have a pediatric unit.
It's got its own building.
And can I tell you how much I learned about the licensing procedures of hospitals within the state of Texas? Because we were like, we looked at it. I was like, is that even possible? No, it's not. You know how we learned it wasn't possible? Because I don't work there anymore. The cancer center at Covenant is located too close geographically to the children's hospital, which has its own license. The cancer center technically falls under the children's hospital license. But you're like, but the cancer center treats adult patients. Yeah. And logistically, it would make sense if it was an adult license. It would fall under the license at Covenant Medical Center. No.
It's a shame that you're so anti-university.
I'm
in Lubbock.
University Medical Center.
Yeah.
Has no affiliation whatsoever with the Texas Tech University.
It has
they
the
want
word
you to believe
university in it.
Means nothing. It's
Texas
a teaching
Tech
hospital.
physicians are right next door.
Can I tell you what they used to call their physician group? Physician Network Services. You know what the abbreviation of Physician Network Services is? Penis. They called their doctor group Penis for years before they figured it out. Maybe we shouldn't call our physician group Penis. Earmuffs, by the way, hour and a half in. If you're still listening, kids.
It's just a piece of anatomy. It's no big deal.
Penis.
Okay, can I say what I learned? Can I say what I learned?
Sorry, let's get back on track.
from
Michael,
your rant.
what did you learn this week?
I learned that the city or maybe not the city of Denver, but the Denver metropolitan area has a lot to offer, including a place called Casa Bonita, which I'm vaguely familiar with because I know that the South Park guys really liked it, and they actually bought it in 2018 or 19 because it was, I think it was about to close. And so they bought it and kind of revamped it. Casa Bonita, Spencer, I can't even explain to you what this place is. It's a Mexican food restaurant. They only have like 7 things to pick from on the menu, and the food was fine. I had green chili brisket tacos. My wife had cheese enchiladas. They were great, but that's not why you go. You don't go for the food. You go because while you're eating, there are cliff divers every 15 minutes that are diving off this, I would say, 10 or 12 foot quote unquote cliff into a pool below, and they do flips or whatever off that. There's a mariachi band playing that moves around. There is a show by an illusionist that I think is every hour, and you can check that out. There's an arcade where they serve root beer on tap. There is a couple of other places to explore that you just kind of have to see for yourself. There's a puppet show. What else is there? I know I'm missing stuff.
I'm scrolling through their website.
Yeah, the website doesn't really say all this.
No, but there are enough things like I'm connecting the dots here with what you're saying and what I'm reading.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild, man.
It is.
I
It
would
is
have thought
wild.
this is a restaurant, but without knowing like there's entertainment factor to this. Is like, one, why is their menu so scant? Two, why is there a security check? I'm going through metal detectors
Yes.
and a bag check to go eat nachos.
Yeah. Because you're going to be there for a while.
It doesn't tell you anything about that, by the way.
I know. It's one of those places that I did find. My wife sent me an article that someone had written about it that was way more revealing. Someone with like a travel blog or something. Like, oh, okay, I can actually kind of see what this is now.
It does reference entertainment, but it says what time does the entertainment occur? Answer: all of our entertainment is offered regularly during our operating hours.
Yeah, there you
No
go.
matter what time you visit, you'll be able to experience all that Casa Bonita has to offer.
That's true.
But it doesn't tell you what. That's
Yep.
wild.
That's about right. And so, the meal prices are high because you're not just paying for the meal. You're paying for all the other random stuff you get there. So yeah, we were there for like 2.5 hours because, one, you eat a meal and that was like 45 minutes or something. And then the rest of the time we were checking out all the shows, doing all the other stuff, exploring. I got a root beer. It was fantastic. I brought home the little mug it came in. It's a little plastic mug, but whatever. So anyway, that was really cool. Kind of a surprising thing. If you're going, you do need to get reservations. And luckily, we drove to Denver, which was a surprisingly enjoyable experience. Everyone was in a great mood. We had a great time. All the stops went great. No trouble. Very fortunate. So it was a great drive. And while on the leg of the time I was driving, my wife was over there getting these texts trying to claim a reservation. And there were a couple times where she just asked me, "Hey, what about this time on this day?" And I said, "Yeah, that should work." And in the time that she asked me that, it was gone. And so she just finally was like, so I'm not going to ask anymore. I'm just going to get the first available. I was like, okay, that's fine. And it worked out perfectly. We got 7:15 on a Friday, which was nuts. So anyway, that was fun.
I did find, on the website, all reservations include, and then it does list out the entertainment, although it doesn't really tell you anything about it.
I know.
It just says cliff divers, the insanely mysterious sorcerer,
yeah.
Roaming characters, mariachi band, puppet show, wishing well, face painting, Black Bart's cave, balloon artist,
balloon animals,
and so much more.
There was more. Yep.
Okay, so standard seating for dinner, it's $40 for adults. Premium seating is $45 for everybody. But that's a table near the cliffs and waterfall. Again, there is barely enough information on this website. Like, what the F am I looking at?
Yeah. Yeah. And then you get in there and you get so turned around and it's hard to know where you are. There's like hallways and almost tunnels, and it's just it's impossible to get your bearings. I didn't, even when we were leaving, I was thinking for a second, I thought, oh yeah, I've got this place figured out. And then I immediately took us to a place where there was no exit door. I was like, oh, never mind. So we had to turn around abruptly in front of all these people eating and go a different way. Oh yeah, that's right.
So you said you drove. I looked that up. It's 548 miles from Lubbock to Denver.
You bet it is.
You know what's 548 miles in the opposite direction in Denver? Corpus Christi, baby.
We got a taste of
8.5 hours going the other direction.
We got a taste of your summer. At least you didn't have to drive through New Mexico.
No.
Which I love. Okay, don't take that the wrong way, people. I really enjoy New Mexico, but man,
it's like the very far northeast corner of New Mexico.
That area is really pretty, especially this time of year with how much rain everywhere in this area has gotten. So, northwest of Clayton, up through Raton, all that. It's gorgeous, just with the hills in general, but especially now that it's green. So that's not what I'm saying. It's just Speed limits, guys. Come on. Let's 65 to 30. Give me a break. I don't need to drive 30 miles an hour through Clayton, New Mexico.
There's a stretch coming down this way, Michael. Posted speed limit is 80 miles an hour.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Love I-10.
Mm-hmm. I had one other thing we did in Denver. We experienced Banana Ball.
A lot of mixed feelings about this, by the way. Apparently.
Went to Coors Field on Saturday night and saw the Savannah Bananas take on the Firefighters. Had a fantastic time. My 8-year-old was completely enthralled for almost 4 solid hours because the game started at 7, but they kind of started the entertainment in the park at 5:30. And so we were there, a little bit before that to find our seat and make sure we could get in and all that kind of good stuff. And I think she had to go to the bathroom twice after we sat down at 5:30, and each time she ran because she didn't want to miss anything. I've never seen her enjoy a sporting event that much, that consistently for that long. And the place was packed, my man. It was just absolutely. There's 55,000 people there. I think it was the largest crowd they've ever played in front of in an MLB stadium. So we really enjoyed it. Music was pumping nonstop. The baseball was fun. The shenanigans were fun. I like Savannah Ball or Banana Ball. I know that a lot of purists don't, but I'm not one of those purists, so I can let it go, and I can enjoy the fact that sometimes the pitcher doesn't have a shirt on, or that they, someone in the stands can catch a foul ball and a player will be out. And I think it happened once. That did happen once. There were several foul balls, but there was only one that got caught. Anyway, it was fun. We had a great time, and I couldn't. We were just kind of blown away by how much our kid liked it, but we both really liked it too. So we'll try to see them again, or maybe one of the other Banana Ball clubs next year if they come back through Texas, because there's several Banana Ball games in Texas in September. But we're done traveling for a little bit. We're good.
You mean you don't want to make a 550-mile one-way trip?
Well, just did that. Just did that over the weekend.
Speaking of, though, Friday, Samantha and the kids made that trip down for good. They are now here in the beautiful 361 area code. That is the Gulf Coast. The boys, the two older, started school on Monday, so yesterday. Oldest is in 6th grade, so started middle school. The youngest started pre-K at the elementary school around the corner. Samantha starts her job a week from today, so Tuesday the 19th. But the youngest one will start daycare on Monday, get her settled in.
It's all happening, man.
It's all going. And
good.
There goes all of her paycheck.
Well, how does it feel to have the family there finally?
It's great. Kids were running around screaming. Samantha was playing the piano. I was like, I missed this. She rolled her like, no, you didn't. I was like, Samantha, I was bored out of my mind watching TV by myself. As glorious as it sounds some nights, sometimes I need the chaos of kids. She didn't believe me. She's like, I don't understand, because she didn't get the same, obviously, this break, I guess you could call it,
right?
Absence of whatever. It's like I needed them back. So
yeah, the chaos was continual for her.
A couple of days is one thing, but it's been
3 months. Well, maybe not 3, but
almost 2 solid months where I only got to see them on, I'd say, most weekends. And even then, I would get in late Friday night. I'd get them all day Saturday. Sunday morning, and then I'm back on the road.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great to have him back, settling into the house. It's wonderful.
Good. Glad to hear
The
it.
last thing I want to share, because I just saw it. You haven't seen it yet, Michael. I want you to go check it out on ESPN. The Air Force unveiled a F-16 themed uniform for their game against Navy this year.
What?
And it is, I wouldn't say the uniform is great, but the fact that it's tied to the F-16 is fantastic. I think there's a cool little design in the helmet and visor. They've got like name patches that
like Viper
resemble the flight suit. They have the jet on the pattern on the gloves, you know. So
well, just as a callback to the bananas, guess what 2 planes flew over right as the national anthem and wrapped up?
A couple of F-16s.
Couple F-16s, buddy. It was beautiful. Long live the flyover.
Let me ask you, I don't. How high up were you in the stadium?
Almost as high as you can get.
Okay, did you see the
ring
ring
the
of
third
purple
level.
seats?
Did I see what?
The ring of purple seats?
Maybe I was sitting in them. I was sitting in right field in the third level.
Okay, so I learned this from a Savannah Banana player that I follow on TikTok. He actually posted like one of the cool things of like all MLB stadiums have like some weird quirks about it. But Coors Field has a row that goes all the way around the stadium that are purple. All the other seats are black or dark green, whatever it is. But the purple seats mark exactly 1 mile elevation above sea level.
Oh. No, that's cool. No, I did not know.
It's like third or fourth row from the very top. Like that's why I asked, like, how far up were you? Like, were you close enough to see it?
Dang, I wish I'd been paying more attention. Well,
if you weren't even up that high, like you wouldn't have had any reason to look that high to see it. But
well, I was on the third row. I mean, the third level. So the only seats above me where I was sitting were terrace, like the terrace, not really seating. But the other thing too is, you know, not to make light of the Rockies or anything, but the stadium was packed. There were too many people there. So I really I wouldn't have been able to see it.
They were in the 20th
If I went to a
row of the upper
Rockies
deck.
game, I'd have been able to see it. The 20th row of what?
Of the upper deck. So
I was on like row 4 of section 300 something. So, but there were like on the first base line, it goes way up higher than I was. So I bet it was kind of on that area that went from third base to first base.
So it looks like in some sections it's like fourth row from the top. Others looks like it's a little bit lower. There's more seats behind it. But yeah, that row doesn't stand out as much as you would think. Row of purple seats, but that row marks exactly 1 mile elevation above sea level.
Very interesting.
That's close you can get. But
all right. I wish I'd have known that. I'd have looked for it.
I just wanted it today. Since we're talking about banana ball.
That's what you learned.
I learned that today. That'll do it for us on the 23 Personnel Podcast. We'll be back next week to talk about the Big 12 preseason projections and the schedule analysis. We've already talked about schedule matrix. Texas Tech supposedly has the second easiest schedule in the Big 12. I don't know if I believe that. We'll get into all of that next week and more. But until then, for Michael, I'm Spencer. We'll catch you guys next time.
Thank you for listening to the 23 Personnel Podcast. Help us out by subscribing, rating the show, and leaving a review. Follow us on Twitter at 23 Personnel, Spencer at PuntSuck, and Michael at Michael_LBK. Be sure to catch the next episode. And until then, guns up and let the tortillas fly.